Your dungeon master has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position.
You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created.
Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast.
It's a product of your imagination.
Survival depends on a quick, decisive move.
Your choices are limited.
Stand and fight, or run.
Use your lightning bolt.
Victory is yours.
Win the treasure.
TSR Hobbies.
Dungeons and Dragons game.
Products of your imagination.
Hello, fellow adventurers, and welcome back to Between the Dice. Today, we're taking a nostalgic journey back to the origins of Dungeons and Dragons for many players, the 1980 Basic Rules box set. For me, this was the first version of D&D I ever played, and it holds a special place in my heart. Let's explore the history, key figures, and how these basic rules stack up against the current 5th edition rules. So grab your dice, and let's roll into the past. The 1980 Dungeons & Dragons Basic Rules box set, often referred to as the Moldvay Basic Set, was an entry point for countless players into the world of tabletop role-playing games. It was a streamlined version of the original D&D rules, designed to be more accessible for new players. This set was a revision of the earlier 1977 Holmes Basic Set, and served as the first half of what would later become the BX, Basic, Expert, series of D&D rules, with the Expert rules following in 1981. Tom Moldvay was the designer behind this particular iteration. His goal was to create a version of D&D that was simpler to understand while retaining the essential spirit of the game. This set included a 64-page rulebook that covered characters up to level 3 and an adventure module B2, The Keep on the Borderlands, which is now considered a classic. This combination of rules and adventure provided everything a new dungeon master and players needed to start their first campaign. Tom Moldvay, the mind behind the 1980 Basic Set, was a pivotal figure in the early days of Dungeons & Dragons. He was known for his contributions to the game's accessibility and creativity. Moldvay's work laid the foundation for many of the concepts and playstyles that would be expanded upon in later editions. Another significant figure connected to this set is Gary Gygax, the co-creator of Dungeons & Dragons and author of The Keep on the Borderlands. While Gygax was heavily involved in the original D&D and Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, AD&D, his influence is also felt in this basic set. The adventure module he wrote for this set, The Keep on the Borderlands, is renowned for its open-ended structure and remains one of the most played and beloved modules in D&D history. The 1980 Basic Set came in a red box with artwork that captured the imagination of every young gamer. Inside, you found the 64-page rulebook and the Keep on the Borderlands module, along with a set of polyhedral dice and a crayon to mark the dice, since the numbers on the dice were very hard to see otherwise. The rulebook was packed with everything you needed to create characters, understand combat, and explore dungeons. It featured the iconic classes of Fighter, Magic User, Cleric, Thief, Dwarf, Elf, and Halfling, each with its own unique abilities and progression. The Keep on the Borderlands module provided a perfect starting point for new dungeon masters. It was a sandbox adventure, meaning that players could explore the titular keep and its surroundings in any order they chose. The module included detailed descriptions of the keep itself, various wilderness encounters, and the infamous Caves of Chaos, filled with monsters and treasures waiting to be discovered. Comparing the 1980 basic rules to the current 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons is a fascinating exercise. The basic rules were, by design, simpler and more focused on the core experience of dungeon crawling and combat. Character creation was quick, with fewer choices than today's editions. For instance, there were only 7 classes, and races like Elf and Dwarf were considered classes themselves rather than separate from character classes. In contrast, 5th edition offers a much more detailed character creation process with a wide array of races, sub-races, classes, subclasses, and backgrounds that allow for deep customization. The rules in 5th edition are designed to be more balanced and to encourage role-playing and storytelling alongside the traditional dungeon crawl. While 5th edition is still accessible to new players, it offers a richer and more complex system for veterans. Another significant difference is the approach to combat and magic. The 1980 basic rules had a more straightforward combat system, with fewer options for characters, especially at lower levels. Magic was also more limited, with fewer spells available, and once a spell was cast, it was gone until the caster rested. In contrast, 5th edition features more tactical combat, with a broader range of options like actions, bonus actions, and reactions. Spells are more varied and powerful, with mechanics like cantrips and spell slots providing more flexibility. However, what the 1980 basic set lacks in complexity, it makes up for in sheer charm and ease of play. It was a game that encouraged imagination and creativity, with the rules serving as a guide rather than a strict framework. This focus on simplicity and fun made it an excellent starting point for new players. Reflecting on the 1980 basic rules box set, it's clear why this edition remains beloved by so many, myself included. It represents a time when the hobby was still finding its feet, and the focus was on imagination, adventure, and camaraderie around the table. The rules were simple, the adventures were dangerous, and every roll of the dice felt like a moment of destiny. While Dungeons & Dragons has evolved over the years, with 5th edition offering a more expansive and polished experience, the essence of what makes D&D great is still rooted in those early days. The 1980 basic set is a piece of gaming history, a gateway to countless hours of adventure, and a testament to the enduring appeal of Dungeons & Dragons. Thank you for joining me on this trip down memory lane. If you have fond memories of the basic set, or if you're curious about how it compares to the latest edition, leave a comment below. And as always, keep rolling those dice.